We're coming in hot with inspiring guests, witty banter, and colorful commentary for today's veterans and military community. This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
They call me crazy cause I'm facing all my giants. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
All right, Alphas, welcome. I'm happy to talk to you again. It's Thanksgiving week. I hope you're ready. I hope that you're loaded. You're loaded up. Your fridge is stocked. I just hope you're ready. I don't feel like I'm ready. I have done nothing. But that's really par for the course in my house. My husband does all the cooking, which, as a wife, I'm bad. What can you do? Amy, how are you?
Hey, good to see you, Ashley. I'm so excited. Thanksgiving is like one of my favorite holidays. I have yet to ever cook a turkey. I'm always the guest. I'm never the host. So I'm grateful for all those people who slave for hours away in the kitchen to make a wonderful meal for their families and friends. But we're wishing everyone out there a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and a wonderful weekend to enjoy with their friends and family.
Yeah, enjoy it. Revel in it. Go if you're going to go Black Friday, you're going to go do that. Going to go get some. Wake up super early to get a TV you don't need.
Stay off the roads, folks. You can order online if you have to do that.
Absolutely true. Yeah, you don't need that nonsense. Sleep in. That will always be my advice. Right. We have some cool stories though this week. Amy, can you kick us off with the first one?
Yeah, very important. A message from the American Legion National Commander, Daniel C. Hafer. In response to some things that are going on in the news, the headline is "Return Criminal Penalties for Those Who Take Advantage of Disabled Veterans or Their Families." And here's his message to everyone out there. Few insults are more egregious than to take advantage of disabled veterans or their families under false pretenses. We know it's immoral to exploit any veteran filing for VA benefits. The American Legion wants the return of criminal penalties enforced against these non-accredited violators. The American Legion or other accredited veteran service organizations, otherwise known as VSOs, are the best first step for veterans seeking assistance because we successfully provide expert help free of charge for hundreds of thousands of veterans a year. We also understand and support a veteran's freedom to choose representation, whether it's a VSO, another claims agency, law firm, or private company. But we support that right on a key condition that everyone who represents a veteran in the filing of a claim is accredited with the Department of Veterans Affairs. Accreditation means the representative has been vetted, is trained, and is accountable to VA's rules, which include the regulation of fees that can be charged. These rules exist for good reasons. They prevent exploitation. As it stands now, nothing stops or deters profiteers from overcharging and taking advantage of veterans. That has to end. The American Legion continues to work with VA to share information and educate veterans about free services available through VSOs like accredited American Legion service officers who helped veterans receive $16.8 billion in disability compensation last year alone. All accredited representatives who assist veterans must be held to the same level of accountability as our service officers who have been successfully helping with claims since the birth of VA. So an important note from the American Legion National Commander to help frame and understand that folks who want to get services can, but he's calling for full accountability and predatory practices, and that people need to feel that they are going to get the service that they need. And if they want free service, the American Legion is there to help with trained VSOs and the proper processes that you would find anywhere else, but it is free through the VA, through the American Legion to help with VA claims, compensation, services, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, they got back $16.8 billion last year. They're good at it. use these accredited VSOs. Go to legion.org and search for accredited veteran service officer. Where there's money and the potential to make money, scummy people will crawl out from under their dirty rocks. And that's what happens. And so we need to knock them down. And I'm really glad the American Legion is doing that. And I'll be out with my pitchforks.
Yes. Don't suffer in silence. Get the help that you want. You might actually find some other camaraderie or other ways to get connected with the American Legion. But that is definitely one of their highest priorities right now.
Yes, yes, yes. And we have got 2 guests today. I'm super excited to talk with them. I know you are. You're always great with these interviews, and it's always awesome to do them with you. And today we'll be joined by 2 movers and shakers from Hollywood. Julia Ling is a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy Reserves, but you'll probably know her better for her roles on shows like, I don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, House, ER, Grey's Anatomy, The OC, and the role that earned her the title of #1 woman of geek culture, Anna Wu, on Chuck. And then we have Hiram A. Murray, who was a captain in the Marine Corps and has starred opposite Kiefer Sutherland in Touch, and with Damon Wayans in Lethal Weapon, as well as roles in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse and The Great War. Julia and Hiram are part of Veteran Powered Films, an organization whose primary focus is to give veterans transitioning out of the military firsthand experience in the entertainment industry via on-the-job training and mentorship with other veterans in the industry. We'll be right back with Julia and Hiram right after the break.
Join in on the giving with the American Legion. Your donations go directly to the American Legion's Veterans and Children Foundation. This supports service officers, disabled veterans, and families in crisis. The American Legion is here for you. Visit legion.org/VCF to donate today.
All right, Alphas, welcome back. We have got 2 fantastic guests to talk to today. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for being here. Julia Ling and Hiram Murray from Veteran Powered Films. How are you today?
We're
Doing
good.
So excited to be here.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
We're super excited to talk to you. And when I say we, I mean the fabulous Amy Forsyth. Amy, how are you?
Hi, great to be here. I love this segment. I'm going to love talking with you guys. And I know our audience is going to love to hear your projects and about your military service as well.
Yeah. So Amy, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, well, Julia, you're currently serving the Navy Reserves. Can you talk to us about, your journey in the Navy and, but really where your passion is going? I'm also in the Navy Reserves as a public affairs officer, but I served in the Marine Corps as an enlisted photographer. So you guys it's like a combination bonus for me to be able to talk with you today. But tell us about your journey in the Navy, and we'll kind of start there.
So I always wanted to serve because my family, before I was born, my entire family was killed in a genocide in another country. And my mom and dad were rescued as teenagers, and they were brought to the United States, and I was born here. And I just remember growing up watching them struggle with all this pain because of the slavery years that my mom was a slave for like 4.5 years. And I just remember how lucky and thankful I was for my freedom to be able to grow up in America. So I've always wanted to serve since I was very, very young. And I started with Marine Corps because I thought that was the coolest and hardest, and I really wanted a challenge. And then I commissioned into the Navy after that. I'm an officer, a lieutenant right now. And it's been very difficult because, as you know, Amy, people say, oh, weekend warriors or whatever, but I literally am working every single day on it. It's a full-time responsibilities with part-time pay. And they say if, there's like 3 things, there's family, your work, and then the Navy. And if you're not struggling in all 3 of them, then you're not doing it right. And so something's always got to give, and I'm always hustling. So that's been my experience so far.
It's absolutely true. They say weekend warriors, and it's just not. They also say 2 weeks a year, and you're like, no, nobody's doing that. That is, it's absolutely ridiculous. And in some cases, they deploy more than active duty. And so it's funny the way that we kind of like all jockey for position. I think it's more of a recruiting tactic. Hey, you'll barely work. Oh no. um,
That's
So-
right. No, but thank you for your service and juggling those things. It's like you said, a full-time responsibility, and especially after 9/11, things changed with the reserves. It is on call all the time. Readiness is so important. But Hiram, let's talk about your service. You served in the Marines to reaching the rank of captain, and so you were already a working actor, and then you decided to join the Marine Corps. Tell us about your military journey.
Yeah, so I started acting when I was younger, about 17, 18 years old, and then I went to film school back in New York. That's where I'm from. And while I was in film school, I was part of NYPD. 9/11 happened on my watch in my backyard, and that is what prompted me to join the Marine Corps. So I went in the Marine Corps at first as a pilot, and then I was an aircraft maintenance officer, and then became the operations officer for Miles 14 in Cherry Point, North Carolina. And I left active duty in 2008, dropped down to reserves, went reserves to 2012, and then came out to California.
Man, yeah, you've done it all.
Well, thank you for your service. Those experiences probably kind of stacked with your acting and then your, roles, and then bringing that leadership experience again, and, your network and your connections. How did that change you or shape you as you are, kind of have your second career after service?
Being in the military gives you this mindset of, by any means necessary, accomplish the mission, right? And so I think it serves veterans the best, especially for this entertainment industry, because you are faced with a million no's before you get that first yes. But you have to have that mindset that I'm just going to keep going no matter what, because I have a mission to accomplish. So with my military and law enforcement background and training that's instilled in me, as long as I can see what I'm trying to accomplish, there's nothing going to stop me, because I'm just going to accomplish that mission.
Yeah. Yeah. And so speaking of mission, you both run Veteran Powered Films. What is the mission behind that organization? What are you trying to achieve?
We first, it started from a very dark place. I was actually really depressed at the time, and we learned that were a lot of veterans taking their lives. So that was what started it all. It was the inspiration, the idea that we want to help stop veteran suicide by involving veterans in movie making, by hiring and casting them and inspiring them in some way through movie making. But that has really blossomed. Our mission now is very much just to help veterans as much as we can, whether it's helping them transition or featuring their businesses, just anything that I think will help sometimes give that little spark, so that they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, this is great. I want to live again, or, I want to pursue my passions again.
Yeah.
We want to show veterans that the movie industry is just like being in the entertainment industry. I mean, the movie industry is just like being in the military, where it's a collaborative experience. It's a collaborative thing. One team, one fight. We all have a mission. So when you're on set, the mission is to get the project done. There's different jobs. And when you're in the military, you're on a team, and you have to know the man in front of you's job and the man behind you's job, just in case something goes wrong, you can pick up and still carry on to accomplish that mission. Well, it's the same thing on a movie set. We want to take the veterans and show them all the different jobs and whatnot. Let them work out as a grip, let them work out as assistant cameraman, whatever the job is, so they can, just tap into that, military mindset that, hey, let's just all get together with like-minded individuals and accomplish making the best product that we possibly can.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Have you seen any like struggles with integrating veterans into these situations. I'm a stand-up comedian, and there's a big difference between when I am on veteran shows, military spouse shows, and just regular comedian shows. You know, people are usually 20 minutes early on the veteran shows. You know, people show up on time. It's a different vibe. You know, so have you seen differences in between the veteran crews and the veteran actors and the non?
Most definitely. Like you said, for us, 15 minutes before is right on time. If you're right on time, you're late,
Yeah.
and just the whole, like in the Marine Corps, yes, our saying is Semper Fi, always faithful, but we also have Semper Gumby, always flexible. And that's the mindset that you need on a movie set, because things are going to go wrong. 100% of the time, things are going to go wrong, whether that's an actor shows up late, or the camera goes down, or some equipment breaks, or whatever. And in the civilian world, when you're working with civilians, sometimes that could be all is lost, the world is ending. Oh no, what are we going to do? But when you have a vet, like, okay, let's do this. We're always working the problem. Always.
There's watching veterans too, because like it's very similar to in the military, where often you have like limited resources, limited funding, and a very limited strenuous deadline, and you have to get all these things done, accomplish the mission within all those constraints. And so just watching the veterans overcome, adapt, improvise, overcome, adapt, and just make things happen on the set. And then we are structured very similar to like the chain of command with the department heads, and it was a lot of fun on Tango Down too. It was our very first project where we had radios. And our director, his name was Roger, but everyone was like, Roger. It was just, and then someone brought crayons to set and put like crayons purposes, and actually convinced some of the civilian actors to eat the crayon. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
That's great. And where you want to take this, what you want to inspire the next generation of, working actors and others in the veteran space, and make a space for them. And, because when veterans succeed, we all succeed, right? As veterans. And, we want to make connections and help people land the jobs and coach them into wherever it is they want to go. Sounds like you both are very involved in that Hollywood space with veterans.
Absolutely. We really want to see you guys succeed. We want to see our fellow brothers and sisters transition well into the entertainment industry, if that's the career that they want to choose. Veteran Power Films really hopes to produce more movies, and we can cast and hire veterans. We want to involve veterans in in any aspect, front of the camera, whether they want to be lighting technicians or whatever. And we are building this community together. So we would like veterans to come and join us. We would like people to help watch our YouTube video and help us get every click helps. Our current trailer is called Homestead. It's a kind of a horror-ish. It has horror elements, but it's a drama about a family, a father who loves his sons, and his sons just really want to fly away. And I'm sure y'all talk a little bit more about that. But if people can watch it and help us get those numbers up, then we'll be able to raise the money to be able to hire more veterans.
Yeah, watch it, share it. Homestead. Okay, I'm sure we'll put the link in the show notes. But it sounds super cool. Have you had any pushback from like from like civilian media companies that are like, who cares about veterans? Yeah, right.
All the time.
Crazy.
We're like, look, like so and so. This one veteran on our set had tears in his eyes, and he's like, Jules, this project saved my life. Like, you have no idea. And we shared that incredibly heartwarming story with a lot of the non-veteran press, and they're like,
yeah, who cares? Yeah, I get that with we had a tour this past year where we traveled the country to find the funniest military spouses and veterans, and part of it was to reduce suicide. And some of the pushback we got was like, well, nobody's going to get it if they're not a veteran. They're not going to get the comedy. Well, but it's not all about that. It's just that these are people that have these experiences. So it's like they don't think of them as people anymore, like as whole rounded people. It's like they're just like, they put you in a box and they're like, this is all you can be. Good luck. Goodbye. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, the misnomer is that the language we speak or the stories we tell, it caters only to one group. And no, you know, just the beauty of being in the military, you know, is that we take all different walks of life and we combine them together to make one unit. Right. So like I'm a father of 6, you know, so like I can tell a story of what it means to be a dad, you know, like I have prior experience, you know, being in law enforcement. I grew up in New York, you know, I have Caribbean heritage. Like there's so many different stories there. Don't put me in a box. I'm more than just my title of United States Marine, you know?
Pilot too. Usually that goes on top. Oh,
And
but
there's so many, yeah, there's so many people that have worked in Hollywood who do have roots in serving our country. So many famous people through the years, and they've been big advocates, you know, of those that serve. And so the Hollywood American Legion Post 43, very infamous. And talk to us about your involvement there and how you guys are like the next generation of Legion, you know, Legionnaires and working there and meeting people there and doing things there.
So I joined them last year. I was, you know, when I first came to Hollywood, people always said, "Oh, join the Legion, join the Legion." I was like, I don't know, you know, what's it about, you know? And after going to many functions over there on Highland at their facility over there, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. And the things that they do, especially in the community, helping out, and also for veterans and like scholarships for their children and stuff like that, all of that is, you know, it gives veterans who are not in service an opportunity to be of service to their community and other fellow veterans. So I love being part of Post 43. Like I said, I'm still new. I've only been there for a year now, but I look forward to continuing my journey with them and helping out as much as I can.
I love everything that the Legion has been offering, and it's just such a small world. So you find people, you know, going back and forth there and with veteran powered films. But what I love is that everything's family friendly and very professional, and that creates a community, a powerful community, one that we need, because like I feel like there's a lot of stigma or stereotype of who we are. When people think of veterans, they think a certain way, but like veterans are not all, you know, killers or whatever. Like we have, like Hiram said, we're fathers, we're sons, we're, you know, mothers. And by having a voice in Hollywood and being able to make movies together, I really feel like veterans have so much to contribute to the world, because they have really good values and good training and good background. So together, like, I think we have a really good, I don't even know the word for it, but like a good presence, a good professional presence.
yeah,
Well, Legion Post 43 is legendary. It's world famous. I would love to come up there when I'm in San Diego. So it's one of my things to do, maybe during the holidays, but you know, being involved at that level, it's just that networking, the inspiration that comes from being a part of the veteran community and the veteran space in Hollywood, right? Is what makes you guys have that extra connection that someone starting out with no connections doesn't have any connections, but that network of veterans seems very strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And what I love about what you guys are doing is you've taken something that you love to do, and you're acting and creating films and putting all that into the world. And then you're taking it to another level and you're saying, okay, what other purpose can we layer on this? We want to help, you know, reduce the suicide rate. We want to help employ veterans. And I love that you sort of layer on, okay, well, it's not just enough to do what our passion is. We're going to do it and help other people achieve that too, because that's really where, in my mind, true satisfaction comes from, helping others to achieve their goals.
Right. And we also want to show the world, because for some reason, you know, there's this stigma that all veterans are broken, you know, and we're all like mentally damaged, and we all have this baggage that comes with it. And that's not necessarily true. You know, yes, you know, some vets do, you know, carry stuff, from their time in service, but that's not all of us. So we want to show you our world. We want to show you that, the only thing that separates us from you guys is that we chose to take up the call and serve our country, but we're still, like Julia said, we're still husbands, we're still brothers, fathers, sisters, children, we're human beings.
Thank you for that, Hiram, because I was trying to say that, except you expressed it much more eloquently. So thank you. Ashley's fine. Like, I thought of a quick example. So on Homestead, for instance, we met this Air Force veteran who owned this house, and he had been so busy that the house just kind of got run down. And so a crew of us, we had representation from all branches, Navy, et cetera, and we kind of cleaned up the house together. We kind of, competed, or like who did it best. But all branches of the services came together to build a bed. And it was so funny. We didn't know how to build the bed. And I was like, we can't figure out how to build this bed for the set. But anyways, at the end of it, a lot of the house decoration items were from Patriots and Paws, which is another fantastic organization that helps to decorate houses. But we created a beautiful living space for this Air Force veteran, and he and his wife were like, wow, this is where we hung out when we were younger. This is our dream to have this house back. And it's so beautiful. And they were just sitting on the porch enjoying it. And it was so fun to watch. So not only did we create set dressing for the movie, but we got to turn a veteran's house around in the process.
That's amazing. What a great idea. You're doubling up. I love it. You level up every day. You guys are awesome.
Well, where can people find you? What shows, what projects, what are you guys working on right now, and what's to come in the future?
We're just everything you can find on veteranpoweredfilms.com. Homestead is our first ever feature film starring Hiram. And we just created the trailer, and we have a feature film script that is doing pretty well in contests, but we're trying to raise the money for the feature film. So that's why we made the trailer. So we're really hoping everybody can go and watch the trailer, because watching is free. And when you watch it, it helps us say, hey, look, people are watching our stuff. Let's make it.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Awesome. Sounds great. So check out the website. And then I know you have Julia Ling on Instagram and Hiram Murray on Instagram. So go check them out at Veteran Powered Films as well. Is there anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't talked about?
One thing real quick that Julia mentioned, Patriots and Paws, the cool thing about, the projects that we do, we also include veteran-owned businesses to help out, to like cater and, just do everything else, because by doing that, we promote their business out there to the world and to other veterans who probably didn't know that they existed. So it's hand in hand.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, sharing the love. I love seeing it.
It's definitely growing organization. We are learning as we're going. And after our last few projects, we realized that some veterans, after the project's over, where do they go? Because the film is done. And so we started talking to a lot of organizations like Equestrian and, it's just services, resources in general, so that we can connect them to resources if they need, and the new community, so that we can continue to thrive even long after the filming is over.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to go check it out. Veteran Powered Films on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere that social media is. Check out Homestead, share it, love it. Let's get this film made. Let's do it. I want to see Hiram on the big screen. Thank you guys both for hanging out with us, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Ashley.
Keep us updated. We'll be looking for you. We're cheering you on from everywhere that we are here. Go for it. Go for your dreams.
Thank you, Amy. I'm going to look for you on the Navy side too.
Yes.
She'll find you. There you go. All right, Alphas. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be right back after the break.
The American Legion is raising awareness about PTSD and veteran suicide by offering hope, camaraderie, and support.
Be the one to help end veteran suicide.
Be the one to save one veteran.
Be the one to ask a veteran in your life how they're doing.
Be the one to reach out when a veteran is struggling.
Go to betheone.org and help the American Legion end veteran suicide.
Will you be the one?
All right, Alphas, what did you think? I mean, what an interview. What amazing. I mean, all the things that Hiram's done, 6 kids, pilot, Marines. You look at Julia, she's got all of the history of her family and what propelled her into joining the Marines and the Navy. And now they've propelled it into a whole new service. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. And I'm going to go look for them. And I'm no doubt in my mind that they are going to go on to land more roles and be bigger influences in Hollywood. And they can, chalk it up to their military service and be an inspiration to other veterans just wanting to make it in Hollywood. And the fact that they're connected to the American Legion Post 43, world famous. It's definitely a great connection for them to have and lead that veteran group there in Hollywood. Strong network.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were so cool to talk to. I've already followed them on Instagram, so check them out, everybody, and share that Homestead, the film that they're making, and veteran powered films. Check it out. And hey, if you're a veteran that wants a job, hit them up. That's what they say they're doing. It's you can't go wrong there. All right, let's go into one of our favorite segments, rapid fire. Let's go into rapid fire number 1. Veterans banners to come down, maybe for good. This is from the Santa Fe New Mexican. It may be time to play taps for a banner program aimed at honoring those who have served in the military. That's because when the banners come down from light poles around Santa Fe later this month, they may not go back up in the spring as originally planned. The head of a local American Legion post wrote in an email Tuesday, the organization is no longer sponsoring the Hometown Heroes program, in part because of concerns over funding. In an email to the New Mexican, American Legion Post 12 Commander Carmela Quintana wrote the post isn't sponsoring anymore since we now have to come up with the dollars to keep the effort going. A spokeswoman said Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, who interceded in 2022 to keep the banners flying, remained interested in the program. The governor and her office believe this is an incredibly meaningful program for families and a worthwhile effort to honor the service of New Mexicans. Spokeswoman Maddie Hayden wrote in an email, "We will work with all involved parties to make sure the program continues." Those city councilors originally approved funding the installation of the banners in 2019. They voted in 2022 to move the financial and installation responsibility to Post 12. Many cities around the country have similar Hometown Heroes banner programs that request donations to pay for the creation and installation of the banners, which feature an image of the veteran's face, rank, branch, and years of service. In Santa Fe, people wanting to sponsor a banner for family member or loved one pay $156 for the materials, but the cost of installing the hundreds of banners on several streets in the city has been left to the Legion posts. In the past, the cost has been estimated as being in the $100,000 range. Ooh. That's a lot more than I thought it would be. $100,000. Oh, what do you think? It kind of makes me sad.
It does, but I hope that they can, pay the money for the materials, and maybe a volunteer effort can help this. In my small little hometown in Northern California, they have a banner program, and it's so awesome because you walk down the street and you're like, hey, there's this person and that person, and so these are Hometown Heroes. So I hope that they can make that work, bring that together.
Me too. So let's keep us posted, Santa Fe. Keep us posted.
Yes. Okay, so in our number 2 story today, U.S. veterans use art to help female Afghan soldiers who fled their country process their pain. And this was a story that appeared on CBS Mornings, and it caught our attention because it features one of our recent guests, Manaz Akbari. In the Sunlight Gallery, high above Manhattan, artist Jen Hassan is trying to repurpose the tattered threads of lives unraveled. Hassan is a U.S. Air Force veteran. She didn't create the art on the gallery's walls. Much of it comes from female Afghan military veterans who evacuated the country after the Taliban regained power more than 2 years ago. For the past year, Hassan has been hosting Afghan service women at her studio near Austin, Texas, where she teaches them how to transform beloved items of clothing like hijabs, hats, and even uniforms into colorful paper pulp that can be molded and shaped into anything they want. One of those escape artists quote unquote, Manaz Akbari told CBS News that the art came from her heart and helps her process the chaos of the fall of her country and the loss of her hard-fought military career. Former U.S. Army Airborne Officer Eringer Helbling, who co-founded the organization Command Purpose to provide support for women leaving the military, joined forces with another nonprofit, Sisters of Service, to create the Manhattan exhibit showcasing the Afghan soldiers' art. What's been really powerful about this project is allowing us to simply be women in whatever way that means to us, unquote, Helbling said. The exhibit will continue through the end of the month. Bidding is closed, but you can view the artwork online in the show notes. So you can go there and see the tremendous artwork that these women have put together. What a beautiful way to express their, their journey through what's such hardship and now their new life here in America.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
They're going to, it's being showcased in Manhattan at a gallery in Manhattan. Does it? I'm trying to see if it names exactly the gallery in there. But we're going to put a link in the show notes so that people can check it out. But it'll be cool to see.
Excellent. We loved having her as a guest. You can go back and check out that episode. And I do remember seeing this on TV. And so, this world is small. So right here at the Tango Alpha Lima podcast, we have some people you will also be hearing about in the news and the things that they're doing. But we're just glad that they share their time with us here.
That's right. They started here first and then they blossomed into a beautiful flower.
Yes.
They were amazing long before here. All right. Rapid fire number 3. Hey, we just observed Veterans Day, which likely meant American civilians spent the day showering veterans with "thank you for your service" platitudes. But a new survey shows that some veterans have grown weary of the words. Go beyond thanks. A new survey reveals we should do more than simply thank our veterans for their service from Legion.org. As the nation prepares to observe Veterans Day, or as I just said, we've gone back in time. I've used a time machine to read this article. USAA challenged the nation to go beyond simple gratitude to create real positive impacts in the veteran community. A new survey sponsored by USAA reveals disparities between young military veterans and their older counterparts and how they prefer to be recognized for their service. The survey was conducted by Endeavor Analytics and YouGov. Of note, nearly 70% of younger military veterans say they feel uncomfortable or awkward when someone says thank you for their service to them. Conversely, only 24% of military veterans age 65 plus say they feel uncomfortable or awkward when someone says the phrase to them. This data shows that military service members and our veterans want Americans to go beyond small talk to connect with them on a deeper level, including learning more about their service, honoring each veteran's service in ways in which they feel comfortable talking about, said retired Army Major General Robert F. Whittle, Jr., SVP, Chief of Staff at USAA, longest title ever. Don't put that on a plaque. In response to these findings, this Veterans Day, USAA is introducing a new campaign hosted at usaa.com/Veterans Day that encourages Americans to go beyond thanks, to honor our military and veterans by going beyond simple gratitude to create real positive. They've recycled it again. This approach also encourages conversations about mental wellness, asking for help, and veteran suicide prevention to break stigmas around such topics. USAA seeks a connection between having such meaningful conversations and the Veteran Suicide Prevention Initiative, Face the Fight, that USAA launched with founding partners Humana and Reach Resilience and Endeavors Foundation. USAA is also teaming up with the American Legion to go beyond thanks, providing 3 Legion posts with new exercise equipment centers. Ooh. As veterans increasingly connect and engage in conversations with fellow veterans through exercise in their quest to remain fit, USAA is providing the equipment at posts in Las Vegas, Noblesville, Indiana, and San Antonio. The equipment is scheduled to be installed in the coming months. The American Legion posts are a place to serve and advocate for our veterans and the military community, said Waco Hoover, who is leading the Be the One platform for the American Legion. A key goal of the Be the One is to go further upstream than the point of crisis to identify solutions that will improve mental health and reduce veteran suicide. The installation of these exercise centers will enhance the experience of our veterans and further cement these posts as a place they can convene and remain physically and mentally healthy together. Learn more about how you can go beyond thanks at usaa.com/Veterans Day. To learn more about Face the Fight, a coalition established by USAA charged with raising awareness and support for veteran and military suicide prevention. Visit wefacethefight.org. Woo! Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there.
Yeah, well, I love to see Waco Hoover's name in there quoted on behalf of the one with the American Legion. I saw Waco over Veterans Day weekend in Las Vegas, and he's really spearheading the MCon event. It brought together, great conversations, panel discussions, and companies like USAA are, part of the solution as well. But talk to us about, you were also in Vegas. Tell us more about your trip there and your experience at the Military Influencer Conference.
Oh yeah. I actually saw Waco there for a minute too. But yeah, Military Influencers Conference was great. There's it's every year. It's it's like adult camp. You go there and then you stay up way too late, and you get a lot of things done. There's a lot of cool people there. But I feel like it's so funny because you have these things that to me that don't really connect. There's companies that want to help veterans and military families, and they always get it just a little bit wrong. Like I could have saved USA a ton of money with this, but because I did this survey a year and a half ago, I asked the people that followed me, I said, do you like it when people say thank you for your service? And I got a resounding no. Makes them feel awkward as can be. USAA saying they want you to go on a deeper level. No, they just want to pump their gas and buy their snacks. They don't necessarily want to talk about everything. I've never met I feel like they put such a swath, like 65 and up, like that's such a big age range. I've never met somebody that it hasn't made them feel at least a bit awkward.
Oh, I agree. It is, because what do you say to that? Like, okay, it is kind of strange. Where it says hero complex, or without going into all the details. But there are ways that these companies are helping if they put their money where their mouth is and get the programs and the hiring and some opportunities out there. Veterans will always step up and want to participate.
Totally. And anything we're doing to prevent suicide is always going to be a good thing, as long as their heart's in the right place. So that's always good. It's just funny. I was just like, guys, you probably paid a lot of money for that survey. We could have done that real quick. Do you have any shout outs for this week?
Well, hey, I just want to say that the MCon conference in Las Vegas was amazing. And, we look for more engagement, there's so many veteran service organizations, veteran-owned companies out there. And, everyone's jockeying for position on I'm going to own this company. I've started this foundation. And so if you can make a difference out there. Also, Giving Tuesday is the day after, it's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. There's Shop Local Saturday. So for all those small businesses, you want to patronize stores and your friends' businesses on that Saturday. And then on Tuesday is the opportunity, if you're going to make a donation at any given time, that Tuesday would be the one. So if you have some of your favorite nonprofits, if you even just, go online, make a donation, if it's $10, $20, sometimes that just makes a difference. And so Giving Tuesday is always one of my favorite days to promote on social media, some of my favorite nonprofits out there that could really use your help. So there's 1,000 of them out there. I won't share with you all, but there's so many that could really benefit from just a $10 or a $20 that you could use your generosity to help it to make a difference. So.
Yeah. And the American Legion is doing Giving Tuesday. So there you go.
Excellent.
You can support all around. Well, it's been another great chance to chat with you. I love spending time with you. Thanks for being here. Everybody, look, I need you to subscribe right now to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume podcasts. Leave us a review. Give us a big old 5-star rating. If you don't, 5 stars, exactly, 5 stars. If you don't, I'm going to create little clay models of your ex-girlfriend. One that you just kind of forgot about. Like you dated her for a bit and she really left a scar on your heart, maybe stole money from you. I'm going to make a little clay model. I'm going to put it in a kiln. I'm going to invest, and I'm just going to leave him around your house, just so you're just like, how How did that happen? Maybe in your car, you're like, man, what is this? This is really weird. You'll start reaching out for help, and it's not coming because you didn't leave 5 stars. Hey, we want the world to know how much you love us. If you have a guest recommendation, go to legion.org/Tango Alpha Lima. Click on the suggested guest link. I want to talk to who you want us to talk to. Alphas, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.